Welcome back, everybody. Tamara Tamu here, bringing you another episode of Unleashed Alchemy, where you experience spiritual transformation and elevation in every single part of your life. It manifests in every single part of your life. It is only natural that when you start to elevate internally, you see that manifestation in your physical life. And I am here for it. So let's get into today's episode. So we are continuing on with our topic around chaotic energy, around the energy of chaos. So in this video, I'm going to give you some techniques for channeling and harnessing that chaos energy in a safe way. Okay. First thing I'm going to tell you is this. I don't care how you slice it, dice it. There is no substitute for creating personal practices that help you connect with your body. I'll say it again. There is no substitute. It isn't. No substitute for you to create personal practices that help you connect with your body. Why am I saying this? When you are connected with your body, that is what keeps you grounded. It keeps you grounded. You have to be in tune with your own emotions because that keeps you, first of all, keeps you in tune with your emotions, keeps you grounded, and it keeps you accountable for your emotions. That is the way to channel chaotic energy in a safe way, in a perfect way, in a loving way, so that you are not harming yourself or people around you. All right. So these practices then become your rituals, because that's what a ritual is. A ritual is something that you have practiced, that you have integrated into your life. It becomes you. All right. So let me give you some examples of these techniques. Now, anytime you hear me talk about a technique, the first thing I'm going to tell you when we talk about techniques to help you elevate it in any way in your life, in your spiritual life, in your physical life, I'm always going to say meditation. I'm always going to say meditation. Why? You get quiet. You can go internally. You can shut off your senses to the outside world and connect with your body again. You can listen to your body. You listen to your soul. It is a way for your intuition to become at optimal level when you are going internal, when you are silent. So meditation is the first thing. So also you want to use meditation, and we're going back talking about how to harness techniques for harnessing chaotic energy in a safe way. You use meditation for your breath to make sure that you're breathing deeply and not in a shallow way. Because what happens is when you are experiencing chaos, when there's something in your environment that looks like nothing but fireworks or even sometimes bombs going off, you can start to panic. And if you've ever been in a state where you're panicking, have you ever noticed that your breath is very shallow? It's not deep at all. Sometimes you're holding your breath. That is the tension. So we have been programmed to tense up when chaos ensues, okay? That tension disrupts the natural flow of the breath in your body. We're designed to breathe deeply, to breathe from our diaphragm, to actually pay attention to the vibration that is happening every time we take in a breath and every time we exhale. There is a vibration. There is an energy because we are energetic beings. But because we are programmed to tense up in chaos, we tend to lose that and forget about that. But meditation is going to bring you back to that. So that's the first thing. Next technique is involving emotional mastery. We don't like to hear that word because it sounds like a lot of work. We don't like to hear that phrase because it sounds like a lot of work. This is a practice. It's a practice. What is emotional mastery? It is identifying and embracing the emotion that you are feeling at any given time for any reason. Any emotion. It doesn't have to be anger. It can be love. It can be an emotion, a happy emotion. You can feel elated. Just any emotion. When you get into the habit of identifying your emotion at any given time, I don't care if you're sitting in line to get a Scooter's turtle latte. I want you to examine where you're feeling that excitement. That is a practice. That is part of emotional mastery, to identify, be in tune with your own emotion because you are in tune with your own body. Now, when we are talking about emotions like anger, frustration, hate, it keeps you from becoming reactive to the chaos. So in the first video where I used the illustration of the winemaking process and how the winemakers do not fight against the unpredictable, chaotic nature of grapes, they work with it. This is the same thing. They're not reactive to the grape. They're not trying to control, oh God, we got to take away this nature of the grape. No, they're not reactive to it. They sit back, they observe what's happening in the grape, and that right there is raw energy that they use to guide them to create harmony around that, to create a final product that is beautiful and works for everybody. Yes, we're talking about wine, but I want you to get out of that and just focus on the illustration. So, emotional mastery keeps you from becoming reactive to chaos, because when you are reactive, you have lost, you've given up your sovereignty. You've given away your power to the chaos. And that is when you have a problem. You are not harnessing chaotic energy. You are then becoming consumed by it. The next thing, this technique may surprise you, but using visuals and intentionally using your imagination. Simply asking the question, okay, so let's say right now, in your present environment, you're seeing chaos. To use your visual, to use your imagination for your benefit, simply ask the question, well, what do I want to see? What do I want to see happen? When you're using visuals and you're using your imagination, this is not a technique to be used to try and ignore the chaos. It's used to remind you of your transcendence and creative power. It's to remind you that your imagination is not fleeting. See, a lot of us big adults, we grown adults, we've been told that imagination is just a childish thing. Maybe you've been told when you were growing up, get your head out of the clouds, be realistic. And it caused you to separate from the intuitive power of your imagination. Imagination is part of your intuition, just in case you didn't know that. And if you didn't know that, I invite you to go back on my channel where I did that whole series about using the balancing of your chakra system to increase your intuition. I think it was a 9-part series that I did. So go back and watch that, where I talk more about using your imagination and how it's part of your intuition. Okay, but I digress. So let's come back to this episode. So when you use your visuals and imagination, it is not a childish thing. Your imagination show you visions from your soul. Your imagination is how your intuition is used. Have you ever just been driving or just eating, and all of a sudden you get this flash, this image of something beautiful, something that you want in your life, or like, say you want a new house and you have this flash of this beautiful home. Do you not know that that is coming from your soul? It wasn't forced. It was something that was flashed. And because we're taught that imagination is fleeting, we ignore it. But part of using your imagination intentionally and using visuals, it helps you get back to that creative power. What do you want to see? Instead of things that seem like they're looking like they're on fire, what do you want to see? Period. The next technique involves you using your creativity. I've talked about this on this channel before. A lot of us, when you hear the word creative or creativity, you automatically think of drawing a picture, coloring, making something with your hands, painting. And yes, it does include that, but creativity goes beyond that. Creativity is allowing your mind to ask the question, well, wouldn't it be amazing if I had this? Wouldn't it be amazing if I could do this? Wouldn't it be amazing if I could purchase this? That's creativity. And so I invite you to ask that question, to put at the top of the page, wouldn't it be amazing if, and you just write. You just write. Allow your soul to come through. You just write, free flow. Don't minimize what you want. Don't minimize what comes in. Don't try and figure out, well, how am I going to do that? That's none of your business. Just answer the question. Just fill in the blank. Also, it allows you, allowing yourself to be in a creative state. You get more ideas. You get more ideas, more creative solutions that you have never even thought of. And yes, creativity could involve you actually making something with your hands, creating something just because. Yes, it could involve, like I said, drawing, painting. You could decide just to do something just because. Why am I saying this? Because if you're watching this, some of you watching this, you have had ideas to try something, but you haven't because you have allowed overanalyzation to get in the way. You have allowed overanalyzation to get in the way. Some of you have had ideas to write a book. Some of you have had ideas to maybe even hold a class. Some of you have had ideas perhaps to go somewhere new or just to pick a place on the map and just go. But because you're overanalyzation, that has stopped you from doing that. Because you have allowed your mind to say, well, what if this happens? Well, what if it doesn't work? Well, what if you don't make money off of it? Well, what if no one cares? The other side of that, if you can think those negative things, what would happen if you say, oh, what if I do try this and I do make a lot of money from it? What happens if I go to a place that I've never been before and I meet all these wonderful people and I step into business opportunities, lucrative soul-aligned business opportunities? But what I'm saying here is, how about you just do something, the idea that you have wanted to just try without any attachment? That's being creative. So let me give you an example. So I have been wanting to talk more about abundance as it relates to specifically money. I've wanted to start something about money, miracles, and magic for probably over a year now. But I overanalyzed. Well, should I start another channel? Should I add it onto here? Well, a lot of people are talking about money and magic and miracles. So what are the different things that I can say? How can I stand apart? How can I do it this way? How can I? Overanalyzing. So finally, I just did it because it was something that I'm passionate about. It is something that I wanted to do. So I just started another segment on the same channel. It is called Money, Miracles, and Magic. Well, where every single Thursday, I will be releasing an episode specifically about spirituality and finance, period. So if you're watching this before a Thursday, just know that the coming Thursday, there's going to be a segment. I call it, again, Money, Miracles, and Magic on this same channel. I didn't start another channel. You'll see it. It'll be in the thumbnail so you know what segment you're watching on the Unleashed Alchemy YouTube channel. All right? So that's an example. It's an idea. And it's something I'm excited about, and I want to share it. My experience with finance and spirituality, they go together. So let's get back to today's episode. Another technique for using chaotic energy in a safe way, moving your body. Yes. Why is this important when we talk about chaos? So I want you to think about emotions. We're talking about emotions here, okay? Nervousness, frustration, anger, agitation, sadness, depression, which is anger directed to yourself. These emotions, if they are not recognized, those emotions try to deposit in your body. How do we know that we feel them, that they deposit in our body? Because we feel them in our bodies. We can feel them in our bodies, but they certainly do not have to stay there. Since we are energetic beings, we get to tell the emotion what its purpose is. You get to move it through your body. You get to tell it what it's going to do and what it's going to become. And you can really feel into this when you are literally moving your body. That could be dancing. That could be walking. Suddenly, your exercise, if you are really into physical fitness and exercise, suddenly your exercise and your time at the gym or however you choose to work out, it becomes more intentional as a spiritual experience because you know that you are moving emotions through your body so that those emotions don't settle and they become something beautiful to get to a final product which brings harmony internally and brings harmony into your physical world. Okay, because that is what we want. That is the final product when we are harnessing chaotic energy. Remember, harnessing, that's what we want. To be consumed by it is a no-go. And we don't have to be consumed by it. So we are harnessing chaotic energy to use it for a beautiful product, a beautiful resolution in our lives. All right. So stay tuned for part 3 of our topic around chaotic energy. Let me know what your takeaways are in the comments. And until next time, cheers.